and that's gonna set me off all day, but I'm not working 2 minutes over this afternoon. We'd like to welcome you to 1 Million Cups this morning. Do we have anybody new here today?
I'm new. I've never been here before.
Yay! We're really glad you're here. We're really glad you're here today. 1 Million Cups is an educational program. The concept is to try to share about your businesses, the new ventures you've obtained, the growth, how you sustain your business, and things like that. Our first presenter is going to be, actually, Mark Lee's going to talk about our first presenter, but thank you for coming.
Good morning.
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 I have the privilege of introducing our first presenter, and I think all of you here know David Jackson while he wears the mayor's hat. This is not a political stump speech, and we told him to stand right here. If it ventures into that area, there's a trap door. So David's going to be talking about his practice as a CPA, and I don't know, maybe some other business involvement, real estate. I'm not sure what all he's going to speak about, but I'm sure David has also helped entrepreneurs probably get started from the accounting side. And so we're glad to have you and appreciate you speaking.
I'm a lot more comfortable talking about either the city of Madisonville or God, and so talking about myself is a little difficult. But just tell a little bit about my practice. I really call it a micro enterprise story, and that's what I want to talk about more than just my practice. I want to talk about micro enterprises and their importance to the local economy. I started my CPA practice in 2004 after working for a larger public accounting firm for about 8 years. During that period of time, they put me by the back door, so I talked to everybody to go in and out, and they kind of developed a practice within a practice. I would go out and develop my own clients, and so I developed a pretty good client base. I've always had what I call an entrepreneurial drive. As a child, I grew up in a family where our needs were met, but if you wanted anything above that, you really had to get out and work for it. So as a child, I sold seeds and greeting cards and grit newspapers and everything like that. The neighbors just hated to see me come. I was always, would you like to buy something? But I think that entrepreneurial drive helped me, though, as far as trying to develop my own practice. And then in 2003, 2004, a client and friend gave me a really unique opportunity to start my own business. He had a thriving business going at that point in time, and he offered office space and a retainer to me that would kind of make it a safer bet for me to come in and work for him and build my own practice. And so that's kind of where I got my start and continue to this day. And so it's been, like I say, a kind of a micro enterprise story. When I first got started, I borrowed $35,000 from First United Bank and went into business. My emphasis was on client development during the early phase. I was out there beating the bushes, trying to find anybody that needed any kind of accounting services, anything that I could do to help them in their business. One of the things that I made a decision early on, though, was to limit my business offerings to match my skills to the business opportunities. And being a sole practitioner in accounting, sometimes there's some that do it successfully, but for me it wasn't what I wanted to do. There's some that can go in and do audits and things like that. I don't offer that higher level of service. I offer for reviews and compilations, and then basic accounting, payroll, and tax services. So again, I tried to look at what my skill set was, the type of person that I really wanted to try to reach out and work with as much as possible. And so again, having an entrepreneurial drive, I've had, as Mark said, had the opportunity to work with a lot of small businesses, budding entrepreneurs, and work with them in helping develop their businesses along the way. My wife actually is the boss. She works in the business for me. I just, answer to her. So that's what I told her when she started working at the CPA firm. I said, well, now I'm not the boss anywhere. I'm not the boss at home, and now I'm not the boss at work. But that's okay. We all have to answer to somebody. But that's really kind of the story of how I got started. What I'd like to turn just a little bit and talk about the importance of micro enterprises to our local economy. I think it's, a lot of times it's easy for me as a mayor and a business person to focus on larger businesses, and they certainly do bring a tremendous amount of opportunity to the community. We're very appreciative of like Berry Plastics that's just recently moved in, and B&K Wood Products, all these larger businesses that are growing and expanding and creating jobs, and we certainly want to do everything that we can to help them and support them. But when we look at, local economy, there's a large component of our local economy that's made up of micro enterprises. And so why are micro enterprises important? They can be started with minimal seed capital. In my case, it was only $35,000 that really got me out there and got me into business. They can create income and employment opportunities that didn't previously exist. Instead of somebody waiting around to find a job, they can create a job with a micro enterprise. It can be utilized as a tool to achieve economic development, social, and business mix goals for a community. So, we look at the Black Dog Fiber Studio or Barbie Hunt's studio, things like that. They really add a little spice to the community. And a micro enterprise could also be as simple as the farmers who set up at the farmers market. So again, they really bring a lot of business mix to the community and can be used to achieve some social goals. What is a micro enterprise? It's a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or a family business that has fewer than 5 employees, small enough to benefit from loans under $35,000. So I was right there at the edge of that, I guess. And a lot of times they may be too small or otherwise unable to access commercial banking services. So they have some unique needs. And please tell me how much time I have left. I'm going to jump around a little bit.
Less than a minute.
Oh my God, okay. They come from all sectors of the economy. But what I really want to talk about is a way that it could be a strategy to help low-income people start or expand very small businesses. And so it could be a way to lift our local economy in ways that we never imagined. And during the question and answer session, I've asked Gerald Cook if he talked just a little bit about the micro loan program that we have out here at Economic Development and ways to see that. And Carol and I rent space down at the Morton House. And to me, the Morton House is just kind of a bevy of micro enterprises. There's
Incubator.
It's an incubator. There you go. There are two massage services, and there's an advertising agency. There's my CPA firm. There's a real estate agency. So it's just a bunch of small micro enterprises that coexist in this one building, and in a lot of ways help each other out. Next tax season, I'm thinking about offering a massage tax package, so that when people get the bad news, they don't feel so bad.
Or she goes see Carol.
That's right. Your next stop is Carol. But that's my story. It's not just the most exciting story in the world, but for 10 years, my CPA firm has provided for me and my family a good living. And so again, if we look at these opportunities to create our job instead of waiting for someone to offer us a job, I think we can really expand our economy in ways we never imagined.
Questions?
And that was slide number 6 of 22. Yes.
What would you do differently? You went in with 35 for seed money. You had some ideas of what you were trying to do. What didn't go right?
I think early on, now being in government, I would have tried to maybe expand away just from businesses to maybe government services, things like that, other opportunities. I think there's a lot more potential clients out there that I didn't really think about at the time. I was focused really on one type of client, small business client that needed accounting and payroll services and things like that, instead of kind of stepping back and looking at the larger picture. So I think in some ways, maybe handicap myself from the beginning with that. And so again, that's where when we're developing the micro enterprise program, MED program, micro enterprise development program, you kind of work with each business individually and give them some benefit of the mistakes that you've made or some ideas that you've had along the way. Yes, sir.
David, did you ever make this mistake? When I first started practicing law, a managing partner of the firm took me aside and said, you're going to have a real drive to bring in every shekel that you can get from any client. assess that client very carefully, because it's a little bit like getting married. You're gonna have to live with that person for a period of time through that case. Did you ever take on a client because you needed to make that mortgage payment,
Right.
but then you were sorry that you did?
Yeah, so, I mean, we all done that, you know, and again, it's part of the learning curve that you go through with any business, particularly in the service industry, of who's gonna work and who's not gonna work for you. And I think it's important too that, you know, when you look at the type of businesses that you would go after in the service industry, a lot of times it's good to try to look at businesses that are similar to you, that kind of mirror you a little bit, because that's who you understand the most. It wouldn't be good for me to try to go audit or work for GE, you know, because they're so large, I wouldn't be able to provide the types of services they would need. But for small businesses, you know, I'm in that vein, I'm in that type of business, and so it helps that we can identify with each other and work together. Yes, sir, Joe.
David, you started off with a loan from a local financial institution of $35,000. We were talking about the microloan program a while ago. But in addition to that is another program called ADC Ventures, which is also a loan program for budding entrepreneurs and businesses who are really trying to get started and everything, and a way to bring all the financial institutions together and make it as easy as possible for the client to go in and apply for a loan, frankly, to go into business. And the whole emphasis behind the microloan program, which is very small loans under $15,000, and the ADC Ventures, which really doesn't have a limit, was to try to generate activity among budding entrepreneurs who are find it daunting, frankly, to go in and to be able to put together the loan package or put together the financial resources necessary to start. And you never know who in their garage is going to be the next Microsoft, or who is going to be the next major company, and it's kind of growing their own kind of thing. And that's why the EDC started putting together those two programs, frankly.
And that's why I wanted Gerald to mention that, because in this group, you know, I mean, this is a group of entrepreneurial spirited people who do have that drive. A lot of you started your own business, or you help other businesses get started from the financial services end and things like that. And so to be aware of this program, because if maybe not a lot of people are aware of it, and we see somebody trying to start their business and they're struggling, and you know, capital is always the challenge when you're starting a new business. So I appreciate everything that Gerald said and everything that they do. The Economic Development Corporation does a great job for our community, and they have had such a tremendous impact. And I think this is an area where, because of how you guys are positioned, you are have a great opportunity to share this information with other people who may be interested in starting their own business. You know, because a lot of times I think, well, I had a bad debt a few years ago. I can't go borrow money. You know, the bank won't talk to me or something like that. But yet there may be a program where they can help you develop your business plan, help you, get qualified for loans, or also help you with microloans. And so again, it's something, a new or another opportunity for us to grow the economy here locally. Thank you, Gerald.
Dave,
Yes, sir.
you ran a family business, your wife and brother works with you. We know how hard marriage can be outside the workplace. Any advice for having your spouse and your brother working with you in business? I mean, that's also a challenge, I'm sure.
It is a challenge, because you have a tendency to just carry it all everywhere. You know, you find it home, you take it to work, find work, you take it home. You know, but again, you have to recognize the need for professionalism and respect everywhere that you go. It is a challenge, though, and a lot of these micro businesses, I mean, if you look at what America was founded on micro businesses. The farmer who would go out there and raise his crops and take them to town and sell them. And that's really how we got our start. So again, it does have its unique challenges in these micro businesses. Used to we call them mom and pops. Now micro enterprise kind of, I think, more accurately captions what we are now. Yes, sir.
Do you have a hard time managing cash flow. You get 12 clients,
Mhm.
they're big clients.
That's right.
They won't hold you 90 days.
Sure.
And you got bills to pay, and how do you get people to pay you on sooner?
You kind of learn your clients and who's going to pay and how they're going to pay and things like that. And I think the best thing for me has been trying to diversify. You know, to not just be in one sector of the economy, you know, because if it suffers, then you're going to suffer with them. You know, it's kind of like a market basket, you know, of different businesses. So the more you can diversify your business so that you're not just dependent upon one type of customer, the better off you're going to be. Because hopefully maybe when somebody else is down, somebody else is doing better. So, you know, you kind of even it out that way. But cash flow is always a challenge. You know, you're always looking out, you know, 60, 90 days of what your needs are going to be and how you're going to meet those. Yes,
How do you
ma'am.
balance the time between all the different things that you do?
I sleep about 15 minutes a night. I don't know, I was up at 5 this morning working on this presentation, all 22 slides, which I got to show 6 of them, so. 5:45, but that's okay, that's all right. But I don't know, you know, you depend on people. You have people, you learn how to not micromanage, and you empower people, and then you hold them accountable to achieve the results that you need. So that's what I try to do in all aspects of my life. And so it's a little harder when it's your wife. You can't really hold her accountable. There's some reality there, but you do. You have to work with people. Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything that you look back and say, wow, I really did that well, or that was smart, or something that you've brought forward with you?
I don't know. As Mark said, you know, I do get involved in a few other things. I've been involved in a couple of oil deals that have been pretty good, and some real estate that's been pretty decent. You know, sometimes you feel like you just kind of fall into these things, and other things you really, really work and try to make it happen. So I really think, in my opinion, that the people that I have cultivated in my life to give me advice, that the folks that I really turn to and ask questions of and draw upon their experience and their wisdom, to me that's the greatest accomplishment I've had in my life, is the people that I've been able to surround myself with that really offer so much strength and insight into whatever I'm working on at that time. Any other questions? All right. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk with you all this morning. Great program. I'm glad to see it continuing to grow and expand. And again, talk to Gerald about the microloan program. If you know of anybody that you think might benefit from that, I think it's a really great way for us to grow our economy.
It shows the rest of the slides.
Yeah, I could go through the rest of the slides.